asking those questions. But Mona, you've been talking about this story. It's gotten you fired up, and you're suspicious about the whole thing.
I just feel like there's got to be some other motivation. You know, robbery, one thing. Generally, you ask someone for money, they say they don't have it, you retaliate against them. But to shoot an innocent child, I mean, as a mother, it plays into every fear that you can't even let your kids out on the street anymore. And here she is with her child rolling, down the street, and to have, her child killed that way, it's sickening.
Nick Valencia, what's your sense? I mean, you were there getting the sound with the suspect's mom. No one's been able to get to her. What was your vibe about the situation?
It's a very chaotic situation. I think there's a lot of emotions at play here, Kira. This town is only about 15,000 people. It's a very small town. It's the type of place where everyone knows somebody that knows someone else. They're all connected and intertwined. This case has a lot of people talking here. Now, the official line that we're getting from police is that this is a quiet neighborhood. This doesn't happen in a place like this. But in fact, just a few years ago, our producer, Chris Yude, was here in August of 2009 when a man was charged with the beating deaths of his family, 8 people in that case. And also, recently we've spoken to a lot of residents, and they say crime is on the rise here in Brunswick. I spoke to a resident yesterday who said there's been a rise in murders recently. Of course, police have not released a clear motive in this case, and it wouldn't do us any good to speculate, Kira.
Hey, yeah,
that's what I was going to say. There has to be some underlying anger, some underlying tension. That's such a senseless act that it defies convention. It defies normal thinking.
Yeah, it's like, where does a teenager get that? To kill a 13-month-old baby in the stroller.
Look at the picture of little Antonio, this 13-month-old with the cute little hairdo and just this angelic face. How does that happen? See, I'm with you on that front.
What is going on in that town?
And what Nick said, and I'm not sure if Nick can confirm this, but the mom, Sherry West, talking about leaving. Does not feel safe, talking about going back to New Jersey.
Nick had an interview with her. Let's take a listen.
This is the second child that people have taken from me in a tragic way. And that I'm so afraid to have any more babies now. I tried to raise really good kids in a wicked world.
I mean, Nick, that's just another twist. Her 18-year-old was stabbed to death in New Jersey. Now her 13-month-old baby shot in a stroller.
Kira, she told me she had just gotten to a place in her life where she was ready to have children again. She had little 13-month-old Antonio and was walking, just on a normal day, walking through her neighborhood when this happened. She's trying to make sense of it all, and she's deeply paranoid. In fact, when our crew showed up at her house, it's a very humble place, Kira. It's an apartment in a duplex. She was packing up her belongings in trash bags. The baby's little crib was in the corner. The car seat had a teddy bear there sitting in Antonio's place. She was crying. She was eating a meal given to her by neighbors. The community has rallied around her, but she's still very scared. She's afraid of retaliation. She says she's never seen these 2 suspects before. She's convinced, though, she was either targeted or followed back from the post office. I think this whole town is really wondering what the motive is behind this attack.
Well, we're just now, Nick, getting a video of the 15-year-old, is it the suspect? There he is. This is the 15-year-old suspect that was brought into court. You just heard from his mother a minute ago. Nick was able to get to her outside that courtroom. Nick, did you have a chance to ask her, what was going on with your son? Does your son have any issues? Who's this other teenager that he was hanging out with? Why wasn't he in school? I mean, did you get a chance at all to drill her on the mental state of her son?
We did. We asked her how the 2 suspects knew each other. She claimed that there was no connection between the 2. In fact, the whole time she upheld his innocence, had said that he was a victim in this whole case, that he witnessed the shooting, and that the 17-year-old suspect, DeMarquise Elkins, in fact, threatened to kill him, and at which point he turned him into police. Now, we're hearing a whole different line from police. I talked to Todd Rhodes. He's the public information officer here in Brunswick, and I told him about this. He said, I said the family of these 2 suspects, they're saying that they had nothing to do with this. Not only did I speak to the 15-year-old's mother, I also spoke to the mother of the 17-year-old who upheld his innocence, and I asked the police about that, and he said, in times like this and circumstances like this, there's going to be family members that are never going to want to believe that their loved ones are capable of doing something like this. I looked at the Facebook page of 17-year-old DeMarquise Elkins, and on that page, he claims to be part of a Bloods gang. I asked him if there's a gang problem here. police officer told me there's just a bunch of wannabes. There's no real gang problem.
Well, I'll tell you what, they killed or are being charged with killing a 13-month-old baby. It's not clear that 15-year-old will be charged as a juvenile, by the way, the one you just saw in the courtroom. The 17-year-old suspect definitely being charged as an adult. He is in court.